So let's go to most consistent. I like this award. That consistency is something that makes these teams wonderful and great. So like the Packers continually making the playoffs, or the Packers' success at quarterback. Just the consistency is really the key. So you know what, Dave? Let's start with you on this one.
Does Dave remember who you picked?
He has no idea who he
Let's bet on
picked.
that. Let's bet on that. Oh,
Oh,
Derrick Henry. Listen, you remember when we were making our rankings, Josh? And me and you had Henry up there, and Justin
Way
and Jacob had him so low. And we're like, do you realize this is Derrick Henry? He is amazing. Like, I get it. He was falling off a little, so I get it. But he went to the perfect offense. You could not have put him in a better team, to me, in my opinion, offensively. And I think week one, he was. I remember we were watching the game, and I think Justice Hill had a little bit bigger role, and we were like, eh. But literally after that, he was unstoppable. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I am not looking at them. All I know is every single week, if you had Derrick Henry in your lineup, he was going off. Him and Saquon are probably the top two guys that just they were unstoppable. I mean, there's a reason why they were ran for 1,900 and 2,000 yards. But just, I mean, every single time I looked at someone who had Henry in the lineup, he was getting like 20 plus points a game. It was ridiculous. So that's my guy. I mean, he was as consistent as they come. He was amazing.
absolutely. Josh, let's go to you.
so consistency is consistency. See, there's another word I can't see.
You can't say. You can't
Or
see.
see. Justin in our group chat knows that I can't spell mediocrity, which is fine. Anyway, my guy is Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, it doesn't have to be great. Like, we're talking about consistent. Like, oh, this is just a plug and play. You'll never have to worry about it again. And Patrick Mahomes is just that guy, for good or bad. Now you're smiling, Justin, because he wasn't good this year. Like, he was, he averaged points per game, 9th best in the NFL at the quarterback position. So he was consistent. If you drafted him, you put him in quarterback, you don't worry about it until his bye week, and you literally just leave it alone. Now, with guys like Derrick Henry, who's consistent and awesome, you have to worry about injuries, nagging, is he going to play, game time decision? I ain't got to worry about that. That's how I looked at this award. I ain't got to worry about it. But the teams I had Mahomes, I ain't worried about it. I didn't draft another quarterback. I didn't pick up another quarterback. I think on his bye week, I just picked up like some random guy. And you can give me that noise all you want. That's fine. This guy was super duper consistent. He's keeping it going in the playoffs. He knows how to flop like the best of them. The guy's a stud. Patrick Mahomes for the win. And guys, don't hate on Mahomes. Like, he turned it on at the end of the year. He turned it on. He was a quarterback 4, 7, and 7 on the past 3 weeks of the season. So
in the first 13, he was QB 12, QB 13.
Okay, hold on.
So is that consistent or not?
Oh wait, no, he was 17, 16.
Yeah. Okay. So
17, 16, consistent.
Okay, so I'm
consistently shitty.
It's okay.
I'm
didn't say good consistent.
Okay. Yes, you definitely defended that. Now I'm looking at Sleeper right now, and in my main dynasty league, the first 4 weeks of the season, he was projected at 25.93, 27.21, 26.15, and 25.81.
You have some weird scoring on there. I'm just gonna say
that. But anyway, he was underscoring his projection by 10 points a week. Then by week 5, they brought down his projections to average about 21 points rather than 26.5. So that consistency that you talk of, that half of his scores haven't even graduated high school yet because they're so low. That, with a random 30-year-old in there, like we're watching 21 Jump Street or something. I think that
well, let me ask you a question.
I can.
Are we going off of man-made projections by some nerd in the statistics room, or are we going off of what he actually did on the field?
I'm sorry. We are nerds in the statistics.
We are, and I am. I understand that. We're going off of what some site projected instead of what he actually did.
I mean, if we were talking some site, we could go look up some third graders' My Little Pony project. Sleeper is a very well-known, usable source. So I would not say it's an unreliable source. I would say that Sleeper is, one of the backbones of the fantasy industry
No,
when it
they're
comes
great.
to usage. So, but I'm going to say that if you were going for consistency, you're not going to look for a quarterback that by his bye week only scored 20 points once. And that's not a consistency that you're going to sit there and question and go, hey, I like this every week. Josh Allen's over there scoring 50 points every other week. Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. Oh, I can pick up Mac Jones off free agency and have him outscore.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. You could do all of that. I think consistency. Patrick Mahomes didn't help people. Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the. I thought the award was this consistent.
Yeah, I know,
he was consistently average.
Thank you.
Exactly.
That's what my point is.
That's
he's
true.
consistently
Yeah,
average.
You're right. You're right about consistency.
I opened up with he didn't have to be good. We're not talking about good consist. I just said that's why.
I mean, technically he's right.
I agree, but when you have somebody talk about the fantasy phenomenon of Derrick Henry, because Patrick Mahomes obviously phenomenal at real football. He doesn't have to be great at fantasy. But I don't know. I'll have to chew on this a little bit.
I'm just happy I didn't have to make my arguments against Patrick Mahomes.
I just have to figure out if Derrick Henry's scored what Sleeper thought he was going to score. Hold on, I gotta check this real quick.
Do we even know who's Justin's guy? Can we get to him at least?
Yeah, let's get to that. Oh, Derrick Henry. Oh, consistently meeting the standard or beating it. No big deal.
I can't look at the projections.
So week 10, Derrick Henry did start to fall off under his consistency, but he did pick it up for the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah,
so that
but
is
hold on. If we're going to talk about consistency, also projections, at the beginning of the season, he was projected at 13.5, 14.5, 13, 13 and 3/4. And by the end of the season, it was 18 and 3/4. It was 17. It was 17.5. It was 18.5. So he was doing so consistently better that he had to be projected for better. So let's go, Justin. Let's hear your guy.
The guy who is so good, he couldn't even get his own team into the playoffs. Mr. Joe Burrow.
Ooh.
Despite how bad that defense was, despite them firing their defensive coordinator and him moving to Indianapolis, which I still hate. This man embalms consistency throughout this entire season. You probably got through week 1, just like Derrick Henry, going, 8 points against New England. That's bad. But then he follows it up by literally out producing his projections in all but 2 weeks, in week 7 and 8, where he scored 14 and 13.8. After that, he's scoring 20 plus points, 30 points a game, because he's got a great elite wide receivers. He's got an elite running back. He's got a good offense. Joe Burrow is the guy that you plugged into your offense and said, I don't have to worry about my quarterback anymore. Whereas Patrick Mahomes, you're going, I might have to get another quarterback. Derrick Henry. Okay. Good seed there. Derrick Henry is good. I remember in 2020 going, man, I'm selling Derrick Henry right now for a bunch of picks because there's no way this guy's going to go for another year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. This man's never going to fall off. But Joe Burrow was just absolutely insane, especially as the season picked up, especially starting in week 9 when they really started picking up.
Burrow was awesome. One league I had him and Chase, and it was amazing.
30 points, 33, 29, 20, 25. That got you into the playoffs. Then he followed it up with 18, 21, and 37 points in the championship. Joe Burrow was not just consistent. He was consistently good all the way through the playoffs and won you championships.
Okay. Now, we need to, I think before I make this decision, after looking at these stats, I hate to say this, but Josh does have a bit of a point when we're looking at consistency across the board, because Patrick Mahomes' scores are most even across the board. But now I'm saying that because yes, he didn't have he had a great week in week 17 and week 12, but otherwise it was and maybe week 9. But rest of the time it was very, they're going to try and get into a bar with a fake ID sort of numbers. However, Joe Burrow, if we're talking points consistency, he's outplaying his projection, but would you say going from 32 to 22 to 50 to 23 to 41 to 49 to 30?
What scoring?
Sounds like he was consistently awesome to me.
What scoring are we looking at here?
That's pretty awesome to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm looking at I should change because that league has some funny
get to
things.
a standard scoring.
Yes, I'm getting there. Okay.
But yeah, it sounds like he's consistently awesome. Where if his floor is 19 points,
then that should be your MVP. We're talking consistent.
That's fair.
I mean,
consistently.
Okay, so I'm looking at the most vanilla league that I have. It's my home league. So vanilla league right here with Joe Burrow. You're still having 21 to 31 to 20 to 43 to 19 to 18 to 14 to 39 to 41 to 30. You're still having a lot of influx. So we're talking most consistent in your lineup, that like a mainstay of your lineup, or are we looking at weekly points? That's what I want to know. What was the purpose of this award? Because I wasn't in there for the creation of this.
So the
I'm just.
How about you're the judge? You can do whatever whatever your heart desires.
Yep.
Whatever your heart desires.
There you go.
Okay, because if I'm going, I'm going with the dictionary definition and going with consistency. I've argued with him, but I'm going Josh. I think that he does have that consistency. He did have that most consistent season. I wouldn't say that I would have, if it had anything to do with reliability, I wouldn't have done it. But consistency, yeah, I'll give him that.